A herd of elephants gathered around a skeleton, gently stroking it with his nose, and his expression is solemn. This is their lost kind. They are remembering in silence. This scene is very touching. Such a monster. There are feelings as gentle as human beings, even more delicate than human beings. It makes me wonder what kind of creature this is. This is a documentary about elephants and Elephant Queen. The 9.3 rating is worth seeing it through. Look at this beautiful picture. Look in this puddle. What are the interesting and moving stories that will happen? African steppes after heavy rains. A herd of elephants are rambling about. They are the only tusks left in the world. Although they're huge, they're very gentle. Though with sharp tusks, there's very little aggressive behavior. Every time I see something under my feet, will consciously avoid. But there are times when you can't see. Like this chameleon. You're pretending to be someone who can see it. If you're not careful, you'll be eaten by an elephant. It's a bunch of flustered people. The little hand rubs has how tight, the heart has how to be afraid. It's okay. Just because an elephant is gentle doesn't mean you can mess with it, because it has a great memory. Its brain continues to develop throughout its lifetime. If you hurt it, it will remember you forever. Likewise, if you treat it well, it will remember it for the rest of your life. As a social animal, they usually take family as a unit. This is their leader, Athena. She is wise and gentle, is the queen of this prairie. Despite being 50 years old, he still leads the family. Every decision she makes is about the survival of the family. They only get pregnant once every 5 years, once every 2 years, so every baby elephant is precious. They even sleep standing up to protect their young. They are a typical matriarchal society. The little male elephant has no place here. When he grows up, he leaves the family, join a herd of male elephants only. This little puddle is their kingdom for the time being. The kingdom has everything, but they must cherish it, because it won't be long before they face a drought. They will then have to leave in search of new water. Athena knows this, so she's trying to get everyone to eat as much as she can. Make the newborn baby elephant as strong as possible for the rest of the track, but what goes in has to be pulled out. This is a godsend for dung beetles, so it spreads its wings and takes off straight in place, through the prairie like a helicopter, and eluded capture, into the dunghill. But they don't have time for it. They're going to roll the shit into balls and push it away as fast as they can, because the robbers are nowhere to go. 3 dung beetles for a dung ball. They fight each other and they don't give in. I guess they're the only ones who can fight for a piece of shit. In addition to feeding dung beetles, they also provide free gardening for nature. Most of the seeds they eat, excreted from the body without digestion, so they leave fertilizer balls, with plants growing along the way. It's like a potted plant. These pots turn into turtle food. Sure enough, the cycle of nature is not wasted at all. The herd has a lot of lovely neighbors. Most of them live at the feet of elephants, depending in some way on a huge friend. Like these frogs, they make a lot of foam. They lay their eggs in foam, or froth frogs. I wonder if these bubbles can wash my face. When the eggs are laid, some will hitchhike home, some sunbathe on their tusks, and of course there are other neighbors. The young birds are lining up for the first leap of their lives, but there's always one. Just slow down. The yawner is talking about you. I can't keep up with it. It finally got up the courage to jump. How can I go upside down? You're about to die when you're born. I'm afraid we're safe. I met a mantis on my way. Want to say hello to people. People ignore. You can't step on someone else. He stepped on his feet without being able to reach the grasshopper. It's hard to be a bird. Keep looking for your mother. The dung beetle is still pushing the ball of dung. It looks like it's moving forward, but it's actually pushing the ball upside down and backwards. It can't see the road, but it doesn't care. His determination is far greater than his size. You won't let go of it easily, no matter how big the opponent is. Oh, my balls of shit. The big one. The small one. You still play? Come on. You step on me. Don't you know I can fly? I've never seen a man who can take a dung ball out of my hands. But if you can watch where you're going when you push that shit. He's got his foot on a frog. It's like a ball of dung is life. Their lives are so full of life, but happy times are always short. The dry season is coming. Most of the watering holes in the kingdom are dry. Athena became anxious. She knew they had to leave, but she was afraid that the baby elephant's physique would not last the trek. For her to be stronger, they've delayed their departure. But the hurricane birds and drained their only watering hole. They had no way back, and they had to leave immediately. Athena had no choice. She's got the whole family in her hand. She had to lead them to a shelter 160 kilometers away. No matter how hard it is, can't put the baby elephant's needs above the whole family. Mother is encouraging the baby elephant, but she's still too small and weak because of lack of milk. Every time you meet a puddle, will drink water desperately. No milk all the time is the equivalent of no food. But mom didn't know. She was afraid that the baby elephant would get stuck in a mud puddle, pulling her away from the puddle again and again. In the end, the elephant didn't make it. Pour it over next to the last puddle. It never got up again. Mom tried to pull her up, but it didn't help. She got down on one knee and held her nose against the ground for a long time. The people who listened to the sound of bitter tears are wrung by a knife. I think people who have lost loved ones. You know, You know, other elephants also came round to make low cries of grief. How similar this scene is to humans, a lumbering herbivore in the eyes of most. They're no less emotional than human beings. Sometimes death is sad, but it's also a relief. They can move a little faster. They left too late. There is no place to drink any water on the road. We must turn our grief into strength and march forward. And Athena's direction was the elephant map in mind. Ever since her mother gave it to her, they had to make their way through a tornado-ravaged wasteland in Sakido. Finally arrived at the shelter. It is a puddle formed by groundwater. There's plenty of water even in the driest of times. Many animals come here to take refuge. They met Sato, the king of elephants, a giant elephant. Compared to him, the other adult elephants are like children. He's gentle. All the elephants obey him. The shelter, though, has plenty of water, but food was scarce. Plus there's more and more animals. There's less and less food. They're getting weaker. The shelter is slowly turning into a prison cell. The rain did not recede and the dry season became a drought. There's an elephant that keeps falling. Athena was afraid to leave because there's no other water within walking distance. She has lived for 50 years and has never faced such a severe drought. She was faced with a dilemma: stay and starve to death, leave at the wrong time and die of thirst. No matter what the outcome is, she's going to take it alone. Eventually she decided to return to the kingdom. There was no hesitation in believing her, because she's the queen of the family. We'll follow her to the ends of the earth. Suddenly they stopped in their tracks. It's not about finding food. It's about remembering family members, even though they're thirsty. As we approach our destination, a baby female elephant is born, although the birth is not the time. But Athena knew that was not the case, because she felt a storm coming. With the thunder at last, it began to rain. Athena's decision saved the family once again. The path taken by the elephant, the rainwater, is again introduced into the respective puddles. The land has come back to life. The animals underground also felt the rain breaking through the earth. Just as every smile leaves its mark on the face, each journey has also left its mark on the continent. The bird is still the bird, but it has grown up. The dung beetle is the same dung beetle. I just haven't pushed shit in a long time. Everything's changed. Everything's still the same. The kingdom thrived after the storm, attracted a lot of other families. Thousands of elephants are gathered here. It's the largest herd on the planet today. However, there are few tusks left. This little corner still belongs to them, but they used to own all of Africa. During the production of the documentary, Sateo, the king of elephants, was killed by poachers. Last time I saw Athena, she's leading the family out of the kingdom. A queen who can lead her family through drought, but no match for the poachers. Behind every ivory artifact, it's all a bloodbath. The most beautiful ivory is an elephant. Refusing to kill is something we can do.